For 7 long months, this poor High Marshal Helbrecht has been sat on my shelf, just unpainted and unloved, and I feel really, really bad because he was a Christmas gift from my parents-in-law 7 long months ago, and I've just been too worried and too anxious about this mini to paint him. I think I've been putting him on a pedestal and just making him out to be bigger than he is. But that all changes today. We're finally going to paint this guy up, going to tackle all of my worries and anxieties head on, and also talk about them and how I'm getting over them to paint this big guy. Right, and here he is in all of his millions of pieces. Let's just jump straight into it, because one of the worries I had was that the video was going to be too long, so let's just cut all of the fluff out and go straight into it. I am pushing the very boundaries of the word sub-assembly. I have taken this guy apart in a million different pieces because I find it personally easier. Like, I really, really like getting down to the nitty and gritty, sort of painting every individual piece in its full entirety and really getting into every nook and cranny. I also find that it makes a project of this size a lot more manageable. So if you've got all of these pieces here, you can kind of just, if you're like, it's quite intimidating. What I find sometimes is if you like pick up a huge model like High Marshal Helbrecht and go, oh my god, look at all these unpainted things, these sections I haven't even started yet. Whereas with this, what we can do is paint one thing at a time, put it to one side and feel accomplished. Or be like, actually, I've only got like half an hour to paint today, so I'm just going to pick up one section and work on just that. Like, for example, the cape, which we're starting off with. We are just starting off with a base coat of Abbadon Black. We're going to do some highlights, but we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, like, I know it might seem a bit silly, but like for me personally, like this is just the way I like to paint. Go crazy with the sub-assemblies, break it down into lots of small manageable chunks. I mean, I will be honest with you, this is probably the most absurd amount of sub-assembly I've ever done. But it helps me with big projects, it helps me paint things, and I think the point I'm trying to get at is, even if it seems silly to other people, it's your mini, you paint it your way, and only has to make sense to you. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pieces of sub-assembly. Might not make sense to anyone, but it makes sense to me. But just to kick things off straight away, one way I'm making this project a little bit more approachable and manageable for me is just, yeah, taking the whole thing apart into small manageable chunks. We're just layering up some of the colours I mentioned on this cloak. So I've got over here on top of the Abbadon Black base, if I can, there we go. So we've got Corvus, Eshin and Dawnstone. There we go. So yeah, what I'm trying to do at the minute, actually, I should probably try and talk more through what I'm doing. I'm just trying to layer it up different. I'm just trying to layer these 3 colours up with like really thin coats. I'm glazing basically. I'm just glazing like loads of coats that are really thin. So if I grab the palette, you can see the state of this bit down here. This is really watery colours. I think this is pure Eshin, and this is like an Eshin Dawnstone mix. Some sections I think I've gone a little bit too hard, or I've let too much of it pool. Because what I'm doing is I'm putting, it's really, really watery, and then I'm kind of like dabbing loads off the brush. So then when it comes to, what is this, the Eshin. So this is the darker colour. I want to try and reapply some shadows just over here. It's literally just like, yeah, paper thin. And I'm just going to apply this over and over again on this where I want the shadows. Just wanted to explain what I'm doing a little bit more, and also talk about it so you guys can tell me what I'm doing wrong and how to do it better. And that's everything for the cloak. Just layering up some greys on the black. I do find it quite hard sometimes, like glazing grey on top of black. I just find it hard to see the transitions, like if I grab this ancient. It's a lot easier for me personally on tabards when it's like Zandri Dust, Ushabti Bone, that sort of colour. I find it quite easier to blend them all together, whereas it's kind of difficult on greys, but like from a distance, I think it's okay. There's some brighter sections, some darker sections, it does the job. Same as the inside of the cloak. This is a little bit difficult to do as well because we've sub-assembled it. Not all of it's going to be on show, so it's kind of hard sometimes, which I guess is a downside of some of this aggressive sub-assembly. It's hard to see which sections will be on show. Like, I was kind of trying to line it up like this. I was like, okay, if it's like this, that side's going to be out, so it's a little bit brighter. Back there is going to be darker. I think maybe looking at the box art, actually, maybe we could have pushed it a little bit brighter. I don't know, we'll see at the end. But overall, I'm quite happy with that. So we can put it to one side as a little done. There's still some shoulder pads and stuff to do, but I'll do them in a bit. I just wanted to sort of ease myself in with the cloak, just as like a nice, simple and easy thing to start off with, because sometimes I find to loop back around to like, you know, how I'm preparing and mentally for this model, I find it hard or intimidating sometimes to jump head first into like the armor, because it's such a huge thing. It's like 50% of the model. It's like the kind of main thing that you're going to see when you look at him. And yeah, it's the biggest part, so it's kind of intimidating, like jumping straight in. So I thought, you know what, we'll just dip our toes in, start off with the cloak, something nice and quick and easy, get it done and then sort of warm ourselves up. And then we can move on to this armour, which is what we're doing now. So we're just slapping down a coat of Balthasar Gold over everything. And then after this, we're going to put on Nuln Oil over all of it, and then relayer up some brighter golds. So I've got, I think, Brass Scorpion and Runelord Brass. It'll be similar to the cloak, where it'll be like a layer of Brass Scorpion, then like some Brass Scorpion Runelords 50-50 mix, and then some Runelords like highlights. This will definitely be the longest part. Yeah, so just going to work through that. I will say the tabard that he's got painted on him now, that was the same as the cloak, just the blacks and the greys layering up, and then the same with the red. I thought you probably don't want to see me do it again. Like you just watched me do it on the cloak. You don't want to watch me do the exact same thing, just on a different like section. So that's what that was. There we go, that is all of the bronze armour done, looking nice and shiny. I also just finished up the cross on the shoulder pad here, just because now this whole thing's done. Like I mentioned, it's nice to break it down into small chunks, be able to finish like something like this off in like full, and just be like, it's done, chuck it to one side. We can forget about it. I'm not actually chuck it, I kind of feel bad about doing that. Let's just place it gently to one side into the finished pile. Oh, actually, sorry, just a minor thing on this. I highlighted the black on this cross with Mechanicus Standard and then Administratum, just a slightly different to the cloak and the tabard, just to differentiate the materials. This is like a soft cloth. This is like a hard tag insignia. I wish I could take credit for that. It's not what I thought of. It's in the tutorial I'm following. I'm watching the How to Paint HellBrecht from the painting coach. I'll leave a link in the description, but yeah, he mentions some things that are the same colour but different materials. You can like highlight them differently to differentiate them, which is a cool idea. I like it. But yeah, that's all done. We can move it to one side, nice and easy. As for the bronze armour, I'm happy with it. It's nice and it's cool. I just wish I could have pushed it a little bit more. Maybe like some sections like shinier, some sections darker. It's kind of hard like to highlight so much metallic. It's also reflective in the light when I'm like moving it around with the big painting light above me. I can kind of see now why people like non-metallic metal so much, because you can really control, like if I was doing that, I could really like paint some highlights like up here and I guess on this side of the knee and like here. You can like really control where you want them. But it's still really cool. I like it. And I guess, actually, let me grab some silver. Just because we're going to paint all of these little details on his torso now, just to finish this off. There's a lot of silver on them. But yeah, just to like loop back around to the whole point of the video and what I keep repeating of like how I'm like trying to tackle this mini that I was really scared to paint. It's just kind of throwing away the expectations and just accepting the fact that, you know what, even if it is a big centerpiece model, like a huge, like massive iconic mini, it's not going to be perfect. Even if I waited like another like whole year or 2 years to paint him, it's still not going to be the perfect mini. So I need to sort of just try and accept that, throw away those expectations, and just treat him like any other mini where I want to try something new. If it's not great, that's okay. Touch stuff up and just learn from it, you know. So we've just done some of the edge highlights on the insignia on the chest. Yeah, the red insignia, white edge highlights. And just a little thing I've been doing is sections like this where it's way too thick. Just been going over and just kind of reapplying that original base colour, and oh, look at that. Yeah, tidying up a little bit, making it a little bit more tidy, clean, trimming down some of the thickness. Just a little something I've been doing to help with my edge highlighting that I thought I'd share. So that's pretty much all of the details on the torso, like the main body. And just quickly, this is phenomenal. Like, this is such an incredible looking mini. I love this like sword down the front. Really, really fun to paint. Like, I love overlapping, interweaving details. I feel like when you put in a little bit of effort and really do like, yeah, the dagger in between with the golden like hilt, and there's a tiny speck of gold at the top there. I feel like once you interweave and layer up all those different colours on top of each other, it just looks so cool. But yeah, really liking how this mini's coming out and how like the sculpt is. I like the edge highlighting of the white on that big insignia. Really cool. So normally at this point, also sorry, I'm just actually to put context, I'm just going to be doing the parchments and the purity seal and this thing down here. It's just, what do we do? Wraithbone and then Agrax Earthsahde, like a thinned down Agrax Earthsahde. But yeah, normally at this point I was getting ready to do like a face cam, because normally halfway through the video I do like a little midpoint update, or halfway through the mini at least. But I was just looking over at this guy, there's still so much to do. And I think that's one thing that was giving me anxiety about painting this guy, and this is definitely a me problem. It's the length of the video. So like, I was just really worried that the video itself, like how was I going to fit all of the painting inside of like a 30-odd minute package? But I definitely think over the past year or so I've gotten a good rhythm for like how to edit the videos and make them a little bit snappier and a little bit quicker. But I guess as always, any feedback is really appreciated. Like if you think the video lengths are, yeah, a good amount of painting and talking, or if you're like, no, you show too much painting, it's boring, or actually you want the videos to be a bit longer, definitely let me know in the comments. But that's but this is definitely a unique problem to me. Like, not everyone makes silly little YouTube videos, so this is definitely something I need to deal with, but it's absolutely fine. I think I'm on top of it and I do feel more comfortable. That absolutely flew by, you know. This sword, I thought it was going to be a bit more complicated, a bit more to it, but actually, once you sit down and start putting paint on, it was just silver and bronze, you know. We did highlight the bronze with some different colours compared to the armour because, like I mentioned, the tutorial I'm following from the painting coach was like, if things are the same colour, highlight them, but they're different materials, sorry, highlight them with different colours to differentiate. So we did Sycorax Bronze and Canoptek Alloy on like the hilt and the top thing here, just to differentiate it. Although one thing I will say that was not in his tutorial, but I did notice on the box art, because I'm using that as a reference, is this like wrist guard has got like some rust on it. See, there's like a green oxidization kind of effect. So I painted the wrist guard Runelord Brass, just to, again, differentiate it from what's going on. And now I get to bust out the oxide paint. I've not used this in ages, and I absolutely love the way it looks. It's so cool. So we just, I mean, I did shake it up loads beforehand, so we're all good. Let's grab, we use the little brush, the size 00. I absolutely love using this stuff just to spatter about where rust and whatnot would build up. So just like in there, maybe a little bit, just around the edges and the sort of sections when the recesses where water would build up. Just kind of rust it up a little bit. And I also like to kind of dip the brush in water, kind of thin it out a little bit as well, so it runs into those recesses. But yeah, it's always fun to break out this paint. I really enjoy it. I just don't really get a chance to use it that often. So I'll let that sort of set and dry, and that'll hopefully look nice and cool, and we can move on to something else. I say, what shall we do next? I mean, it's right there on the other side of the cork. It's the hand with the lantern. Should probably do that next, because that way we can actually like glue the arms on and really start building him up. Right, I think we're about halfway there now. I'm just looking at the model. I mean, he's really coming together and he looks absolutely incredible. Look at that dude. So yeah, we've done both shoulder pads, both hands. He's got a little pin badge on his chest. I absolutely love, just quickly before we get onto the spice that's about to come, I absolutely love, actually I'll put a little spinny thing here, the insignia, like the Templar cross, but with the red outline around the edge. I wish more Templars had not just a plain cross. I wish they had the cross and then a nice little extra outline. It's really cool and just adds like a little bit more pizzazz and depth to it. Yeah, it's really, really good. Although I guess maybe it should be reserved for the High Marshal, because he is like the Primarch essentially of the Black Templars. I know they don't have a Primarch, but he's like that level, like the chapter master, the leader. Absolutely mint. I'm loving him so far, which means it's time to ruin him. So I was watching Eons of Battle paint his High Marshal Helbrecht. I was just like, oh, how does he do it? Let's see what he does. And I noticed that he does a little bit of OSL on the lamp. And I thought, you know what? We've not done that yet. And I've got an airbrush. So why not potentially ruin the model and give it a try? So what he does is, let's find it. So where is it in the video? He just blasts the cape with a little bit of white from the airbrush. Yeah, there you go, look at that. And then also after that, he puts on some of the same contrast paint that he used on the lantern over that white. So that's what we're going to do. Blast a little bit of white just in this cape down here where the lantern is, and then we'll put Imperial Fist over the top. It's the only yellow-orange contrast paint I own, and that's what I used on the lantern. What's the worst that could happen, eh? Right, backpack's done. Quickly fly through this. Red tassels, looking good, nice highlights. Went for like a greyish candle rather than red, because I thought there's loads of red on the mini already. And then the skull is just, yeah, like Screaming Skull, Wraithbone. Looks fine. Pretty cool little backpack. Don't care, because oh my god, how cool does that look? Oh, this is incredible. Oh my god, obviously it's not the best OSL in the world, but it's the first time I've ever done it, and considering how easy it was, just like a spurt of white through the airbrush, and then the contrast paint over the top. Oh, I'm so impressed with that. It looks incredible. It's really, really cool. It's got me excited to try and work on more like stuff like this. Obviously, the main thing you see with airbrushes is like the glow of the plasma and the OSL. And yeah, the first ever try coming out like this has got me really excited to like do more. Or it may be the next video or the video after, I might try and do like a whole video on like glowing OSL airbrushy bits, because I've got loads of like, this is a Forge Fiend, like I started kind of put down. I've got some Hellblaster bits on my desk, so lots of plasma coils and glows like sitting around that I need to paint anyway. So this was so much fun, I might do like a full video on it. Oh, you'll have to let me know, but I'm so impressed with how it's turned out and how cool it looks. Well impressed. Okay, cool. That's pretty much everything for the High Marshal, as you can see here. I think there's two tiny things. He's got his face, which I'm going to do a little bit later on because it kind of ties in with some of the dudes on here. And I have got this other little random tassel that I completely forgot about. This will just be the same as everything else we've done. So this will be like red tassels, silver chains, like the normal skull stuff. So I won't include this just to try and keep the video from getting too out of hand. I can only imagine how long it's going to be because it's such a big model. Because next up we've got the big scary thing. Right, it is finally time for this base. It's been haunting me and intimidating me the entire project. But to be fair, I think it's going to be fairly simple. So my plan is, I've cracked out the airbrush, as you can see, with the black card on the desk so it doesn't get too messy. And we're just going to build up some xenophiles of grey and white. I've already put a black primer on him. And then that way we can take this Waagh Flesh. No idea where this has come from. It's kind of just appeared in my collection one day. I don't know why I have it, but it's obviously perfect for orc skin. So like I mentioned, we're going to put some xenophiles down of black and grey. So I've got, well, the black, Mechanica Standard, and then White Scar. Going to try and like build up some natural highlights, and then we can put one really thin coat of Waagh Flesh over the top, and that should hopefully do it, I'm hoping. Oh, this is really fun, you know. Like, I've really enjoyed painting this orc. Like, it's different to, I've not painted an orc before, and it is essentially just a miniature just like shoved into a base. So it's quite fun and cool painting all the different details and like things it's got that other minis haven't, like these cool straps and like the boots and whatnot. Yeah, really enjoyed it. And the skin's quite good. It definitely is improving as I'm adding other colours. Like, I think it looks alright. There's some cool shading. Looking really cool. I've just done all the base colours. Oh, I'm lying to you. I need to put some Black Templar on this belt and this shoulder pad. I'll do that in a sec, because what I wanted to do was actually grab the High Marshal himself, because he's going to be covering up a lot of this mini. I don't want to put too much effort into sections that aren't even going to be visible. So I just want to like pretend to line him up and then get his little servitor as well. Yeah, this is exactly why I've done this, because I'm going to put some Agrax Earthsahde over all of the leather and the trousers and probably the boots as well. Probably over all of it apart from the skin. So yeah, I didn't want to go too crazy and highlight it all, so I might just put like a wash over all of it and then call it there, rather than going crazy with the highlights, because as we've just seen, all the extra bits are going to cover it up anyway. So I've just put some Kislev Flesh over all of the Servitors' like arms and skin, but I've just had a thought. It's a little bit too bright, you know. They're Servitors, they're little like mechanical slaves, they are the lowest of the low. They wouldn't have like bright, vibrant skin. I feel like they'd have really old, discarded, like Waagh Flesh basically, is what I'm putting on it. Because I feel like, yeah, they'd be like deprived of nutrition, no rest, all like battle torn and what, like they'd be old and haggard basically, and they'd have like disgusting skin. So I am just going to quickly go over with a layer of, oh, not even in shop, sorry. So I am going to go over this Kislev Flesh with some Waagh Flesh just to like dull it down, make it more like, you know, grim, servitor, ugly skin. I will stick with the same wash of Waagh Flesh over the top, and I will also stick with Kislev Flesh for HellBrecht's face, which we can do in a minute. Yeah, that skin is a lot better. I much prefer it to the Kislev Flesh. It's still a little bit like bright, reddish from the Rieklend Fleshshade, but it's nowhere near as bad as the Kislev. That was like proper bold and in your face. So I'm just trying to finish up all the details on these Servitors, and my god, I think they've got more details going on than HellBrecht. Like, there's so much of like this pipe here. He's got like staples on his wrist, on his back. He's got this whole thing that's going to have a couple like different coloured details. There's pipes galore, although I am just going to cover most of the pipes in Black Templar contrast, then maybe put on some like little extra details, like maybe a hazard stripe or some red on some of these pipes. I don't know, just something to pizzazz it up. What I will say though is I did just do the base off camera. It was kind of getting me down a little bit because I thought it was really bare and empty, so I did a bunch of Eshin Grey and Dawnstone on the rocks. I put some rattling grime on some of the like rubble mud just to give it a different colour and texture. And then yeah, I did my normal Black Templar like swamp base, which is a whole bunch of moss. I got this like fake green moss that I put PVA glue down over some of the rocks, and then I sprinkle the fake moss over the top. Then I've got some AK Interactive like fake water that I just squirt over to make it this like swampy green mossy mud like mess. It's okay, like it's quite cool. I feel like I'm stuck into it a little bit now because that's what I've been doing on all my Templars. So to keep the army coherency, they kind of all need to have it. But I do quite like it. It's a cool effect. It's quite fairly simple and basic, just one or two little bits. But yeah, now that the moss and the water and everything's on it, it's looking a lot better. I'm really enjoying it. Oh, I think it's done. I think we're finally there. So the Servitors are both done. The base is all finished. I need to paint the rim black. Oh, there we go. And then also the High Marshal himself is all done. So I think we've finished everything. We just need to glue him together and paint the base, and we can take a look at him in all of his glory. But during that sort of base building process and gluing, there is one final minor thing I want to do, and it's we want to bloody up the sword and this cloth. Oh, we finally got there. Here he is, High Marshal Helbrecht, the leader of the Black Templars, the model that I was terrified to paint in a million ways. Finally done. Oh my god, that was a journey and a half, and it was a really fun, really, really good. Definitely tackled some of the things I was worried about, and some of them were justified, some of them were we learnt from, but all in all, this has been a really, really fun project, and it's, oh man, it's what a mini. All of the anxieties and worries and like the point of the video aside, let's just look at how cool this dude is. Like, just this huge, grand Templar standing on top of a rock and a dead orc. I think maybe we should try and bump up a little bit, actually. Do a top-down view, and that way we can see the base. Yeah, there we go, a little bit more top down, also zoomed in a bit so we can look at some of the really cool details, because I'm so happy with this. Like, one of the things I was worried about was I wasn't going to be able to do him justice, which is why I put him off for so long. And I do think there are some things that are not as good as they could have been, or I could have done better. Like I mentioned, the armour's just a bit, it's fine. I maybe could have pushed some of the highlights a little bit further to make it stand out more, but maybe this is my sign to finally try out non-metallic metals, so I can do that. But I do think it's a cool looking, like, it's very clean bronze, it's very nice, just could have been pushed a little bit further. And then the OSL on the side cape band is so cool. That wasn't even in my mind before I started. There was, I just saw it on a video I was watching while I was painting. I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever, I want to try it. And yeah, it turned out really well. And yeah, some of the details are really cool. I love the little Templar cross on his chest, and then also the ones on his shoulders. I think they're highlighted kind of well. They're looking all right and like prominent. So even though I was anxious about not being able to do him justice, I think he's definitely up there. Is it the best mini I've ever painted? It's hard to say, because these models have got like an unfair advantage, because like the sculpt itself is so cool. Like the Servitors, even though honestly they were a nightmare. We'll get onto them in like 2 seconds. And then I've just noticed I've missed a tiny bit on a Servitor. 1 second, actually. Hold on. Maybe we can do this just now. There's a tiny little bit of silver I've missed on his eye. I mean, if we just touch on these boys, they were a nightmare. There's so much detail on these guys. I had no idea. There we go. I'll put a little bit of Nuln Oil and a highlight on that afterwards, but just to patch up a bit I missed. Perfect. Yeah, they were a nightmare. There's so much detail on these guys. They took, honestly, almost as much time as some sections of HellBrecht. Like, they've got obviously the combi weapon, the blue. I like the blue, could be a little bit darker, but it looks quite nice against the grey of like the HellBrecht's cloak. Boots, chains, all these like pipes around the back. I did some sort of hazard stripes on that one down there. Honestly, these boys are like, there's so much going on at these guys, but they're really, really cool. But no, I feel like this model has an unfair advantage. Like, he's such a cool sculpt. Like, I love the sword and the orc, the lantern at the side, all of the just trinkets hanging off of him. Super, super cool. I guess something we could improve on is if we get real nitty and gritty. The skull up there isn't too great. I definitely want to work on my skulls using more like brown paints and layering up like lots and lots of different colours to get nice and shades. Definitely something I want to work on. And then yeah, what we've just done down here, the orc, or the blood coming down. This is one of my favourite parts. I don't know if it's recency bias, because I literally just finished this about 10 minutes ago, but I love this thing down here. It's so cool. Like I mentioned, the base was something I was a little bit worried about, because I thought, it's a little bit bland. But now that I've sort of added, yeah, the fake moss, the blood coming from the orc, like the little servitor wiping it, like if we get real close. Yeah, the blood effect on the sword is really cool, like where it stops where the cloth is, then yeah, that cloth has got some blood for the blood god, like dabbed onto it. It's really, really good. Super happy with that. And then yeah, I just think overall, really cool model, really fun to paint, and wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, you know? There he is, High Marshal Helbrecht of the Black Templars, and that was nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. Some stuff was still a little bit like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here, or a little bit anxious. Definitely the time thing. It took absolutely ages, like really long. And that's normally fine, but some parts I was a bit like the 2 servitors, doing like everything on the servitor twice was a little bit like, bit of a slog, especially with it being at the end. Like, I think if I maybe should have started with those, but I think that sort of taught me that maybe I need to plan my projects better, because for the most part I just go, I want to paint this, let's jump in and just get a feel for it. But maybe we should be planning it out a little bit more. But no, I think it turned out really well, just over there on my shelf. I might include a picture here actually, because we're getting a proper force of Black Templars, you know. It's really good. But yeah, he's a proper iconic and cool unit, and like he really fills out that base now that I've put everything on it, and he is really, really cool. I do love him. But thanks as always, thank you for watching the video, and also thank you to everybody who supports the channel via Patreon, like these people here. There's also a Discord link in the description if you want to come and join the channel. Don't have to pay for it, it's completely free. But as always, thank you for watching, drop a like and subscribe, and tune in next time. Bye!